as part of the implementation phase, US will now oversee the withdrawal of Israeli forces, that is from the pilot zones in the south, with the first to get underway within days' time. Tracking all those developments on the show today.
Also on the show today, lined up for you, Iran laid to rest its former supreme leader Ali Khamenei over 4 months after his killing in an airstrike. The burial took place as both the US and Iran launched a wave of attacks, raising fears the conflict could escalate further and even spiral into a wider West Asia war yet again. This and much more on the show today. First, a quick look at the headlines.
Prime Minister Modi and Australian Prime Minister Albanese visit Melbourne Cricket Ground as India and Australia seek to strengthen cricket ties, with reports saying Big Bash League plans to stage match in Chennai and explore future IPL games in Australia.
Iran buries former Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei in his hometown of Mashhad more than 4 months after he was killed in an airstrike, as renewed US-Iran attacks heighten fears of a wider conflict.
Iranian state media reports a US-Israeli projectile struck a military headquarters near Bushehr, while a US defense official denies that American forces were conducting strikes on Iran.
Israeli Prime Minister's office says Donald Trump briefed Benjamin Netanyahu about US operations in the Gulf after fresh American strikes on Iran. Netanyahu raised concerns about Turkey's rhetoric and Israel's border security.
Syrian officials say they have captured an Islamic State-linked cell suspected of carrying out 2 Damascus bombings during French President Macron's visit. Further details will be released after the investigation concludes.
Russian Shahid drone strikes on a gas station in Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia kills 1 person and injures 3 others. Rescuers were seen dousing fires at the damaged site as a destroyed car and drone wreckage lay among debris.
North Korea announces at a Central Military Commission meeting that it will expand its nuclear arsenal in both size and capability as part of efforts to modernize its military, improve combat readiness, and upgrade military bases.
SK Hynix has priced its US Nasdaq listing at $149 share, raising to $26.5 billion in the world's second largest stock sale after SpaceX. The AI chip leader says the funds will boost production and expand its high bandwidth memory business.
France sees into the World Cup semi-finals after defeating Morocco 2-0. Kylian Mbappe opens a scoring on the hour mark before Ousmane Dembele notches the second 6 minutes, later to send France into the semi-finals.
स्पोर्ट्स को भी डेमोक्रेटाइज किया है। खेलो इंडिया कार्यक्रम से छोटे शहरों, गांवों और सामान्य परिवारों के बीच को भी बड़े सपने देखने का प्लेटफॉर्म मिल रहा है।
Friends, sports are a strong pillar of the India-Australia friendship and relationship. It gives me great pleasure to launch the India-Australia Sports Collaboration Roadmap today with Prime Minister Albanese. Through this initiative, we will deepen cooperation not only in cricket but across a wide range of sports. We will work together in sports training, sports science, and sports technology. We will strengthen our partnership both on the field and off the field as well. In India, we have democratized not only technology but also sports. Through the Khelo India program, children from small towns, villages, and ordinary families have been given a platform to dream big.
आज भारत में स्पोर्टिंग टैलेंट कुछ बड़े शहरों तक सीमित नहीं है। यह देश के हर कोने से, हर बैकग्राउंड से उभर रहा है। 2030 में भारत कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स की मेजबानी करने जा रहा है और जैसा मेरे मित्र ने बताया, हम 2036 में ओलंपिक्स भारत में आयोजित करने का भी प्रयास कर रहे हैं। 2032 में ब्रिस्बेन ओलंपिक्स होस्ट करेगा। इन ग्लोबल इवेंट्स को आयोजित करने के लिए मेगा स्केल पर स्पोर्ट्स इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर तैयार किया जाएगा। यानी आने वाले वर्षों में हमें एक दूसरे से सीखने के, एक दूसरे के साथ मिलकर काम करने के अनेक नए अवसर प्राप्त होंगे। मुझे खुशी है कि बिग बैश लीग का एक मैच भारत में चेन्नई में आयोजित किया जाएगा। किसी भी स्पोर्टिंग लीग के लिए भारत में इवेंट करना यानी बड़ी रीच और व्यूअरशिप की गारंटी है।
Today, sporting talent in India is no longer confined to a few major cities. It is emerging from every corner of the country and from every background. India will host the Commonwealth Games in 2030. And as my friend Prime Minister Albanese just said, we are also making every effort to host the Olympic Games in 2036. Brisbane will host the Olympics in 2032. Preparing for these global sporting events will require the creation of sports infrastructure on a massive scale. This means that in the years ahead, we will have many opportunities to learn from one another and work together. I am also extremely delighted that a Big Bash League match will be held in Chennai, India. For any sporting league, staging an event in India guarantees tremendous reach and viewership.
इस वर्ष भारत में मेंस T20 वर्ल्ड कप जीता और ऑस्ट्रेलिया विमेंस T20 वर्ल्ड कप का विजेता बना। मेरी तरफ से सभी विमेन खिलाड़ियों को विशेष रूप से बहुत बहुत बधाई। मुझे विश्वास है कि स्पोर्ट्स की तरह हमारी पार्टनरशिप भी हर क्षेत्र में चैंपियन बनेगी। मैं एक बार फिर खेल, युवा ऊर्जा और भारत ऑस्ट्रेलिया मित्रता का एक सुंदर अनुभव कराने के लिए मेरे मित्र प्रधानमंत्री एल्बनीज़ी का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। लेट अस प्ले टुगेदर, लेट अस विन टुगेदर। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Friends, this year India won the Men's T20 World Cup and Australia emerged as the champions of the Women's T20 World Cup. My heartfelt congratulations to all women cricketers for this great achievement. I am confident that just like in sports, our partnership too will become a champion in every field. Once again, I thank my friend, Prime Minister Albanese, for bringing us together for this wonderful celebration of sport, youth and India-Australia friendship. Let us play together. Let us win together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we just saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi speaking to the press in regards to the India-Australia Sports Collaboration Roadmap, which will work in sports training, science and technology, boosting the partnership both on and off the field. Prime Minister Modi also shed light upon India hosting the Commonwealth Games and also the intent to host the Olympics and other global events, under which India will focus on building mega sports infrastructure as well. He affirmed the reality that hosting such events in India would ensure wider viewership and attendance, ending his address on a note of "let us play together and let us win together." Remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Australia on a 3-nation tour. This is his second visit to the country. This is his second stop in this visit and will eventually lead to New Zealand.
Well, just to quote again Prime Minister Modi's statement, he says in 2030 India will be hosting Commonwealth, and in 2032 Australia will be hosting Olympics, and thus both countries will be learning and needs cooperation of each other, that is to develop sports infra on massive scale. Well, that's one of the highlights from the statements coming in, that is from Prime Minister Modi and Anthony Albanese. And as we speak, Australian Prime Minister also said that opening match of Big Bash Cricket League will be played in India. That's one of the many highlights as far as Prime Minister Modi's visit to Australia is concerned. A visit that will further strengthen and deepen the cooperation between India and Australia. So Prime Minister Modi and Australian Prime Minister Albanese have visited Melbourne cricket ground as India and Australia seek to strengthen cricket ties. Let's go across quickly to Dasani, who's joining us on the phone line. Dasani, once again, for the benefit of our viewers, if you can give us a quick recap of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Australia and of course the major ones coming in as far as that announcement is concerned, both by Prime Minister Modi and Anthony Albanese. Well, I'm not sure if Dasani is still with us. We will just go across to her, but as we speak, Prime Minister Modi is saying that India will be hosting Commonwealth in 2030 and that it is going to be 2 years later, that is in 2032, that Australia will be hosting Olympics as well. Let's go across to Dasani. Dasani, give us a quick recap of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Australia.
Well, I'm currently outside the MCG and Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived a short while ago, where we did see press statements given by both premiers, Narendra Modi as well as Anthony Albanese, at the MCG, where key decisions were made, especially with regards to the hosting of major sporting events. We're talking about the Commonwealth Games and also the Olympics and so on. And that is a major statement alone, where India will be hosting the Commonwealth in the year 2030. And this visit right now is sure to kind of go on as one of the key relations in terms of sports diplomacy between India and Australia, especially given the fact that these are two of the world's biggest cricket playing nations, and also home to the world's biggest cricket stadium is India, and now the MCG being the second biggest.
Thank you, Dasani, for getting us the latest. Thank you for joining us. Moving on, former Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei has been led to rest in his home city of Mashhad. The body of late Ayatollah was buried in the memorial hall of the shrine of Imam Reza.
Well, the mourners included Ali Khamenei's sons Mustafa, Masood and Mesam, as well as veteran chief gatekeeper Mohammad Gulpaigani. However, his son and successor Mujtaba Khamenei did not make an appearance. Khamenei was killed alongside close family members on the first day of US-Israeli war against Iran on 28th of February.
Mourners carried Khamenei's flag-covered coffin into the holy shrine as a sea of people waited outside and listened to prayers. According to late Supreme Leader's office, he had requested to be buried near the shrine of Imam Reza, a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad.
Well, this culminates a 6-day-long funeral ceremony that spanned from Tehran to Karbala and finally Mashhad, and shows millions gathering to bid their final respects.
Now let's recap final journey of Ali Khamenei. At first, his mortal remains were placed inside Tehran's Grand Mosala, where world leaders and Iran's top leadership paid their respects to country's second supreme leader.
People carried red flags with the Arabic inscription, "O Avengers of Hussein," drawing parallel between Khamenei's assassination and killing of Imam Hussein, who was a grandson of the Prophet Muhammad.
From the Grand Mosala, Ali Khamenei's casket was taken out for a parade on the streets of Tehran. The capital city witnessed a sea of red and black, representing sentiments of vengeance and mourning.
Well, the next destination of Khamenei's funeral procession was Qom, a city of holy shrines, country's religious power center, and a birthplace of 1979 Iranian Revolution.
Following this, Ali Khamenei's casket entered neighboring country of Iraq, where it was taken to Imam Ali Shrine in Najaf. It is a major pilgrimage site for Shia Muslims and the burial place of Imam Ali, who is revered as the first Imam in Shia Muslims.
From Najaf, the procession moved to Karbala, where Prophet Muhammad's grandson, Imam Hussein, was martyred more than 1300 years ago, making it a spiritual heart of Shia Islam, representing the ultimate symbol of martyrdom.
The funeral ceremony of Iran's second supreme leader ended in his hometown. Thousands of mourners dressed in black flooded into the city of Mashhad for the final ritual. Many in the procession carried banners with messages calling for the killing of US President Donald Trump. The burial also came after a second day of tit-for-tat attacks by US and Iran's forces, which has raised fears of a return to all-out war.
Now, Tehran has claimed that 2 Iranian military sites in 2 different cities were targeted by several strikes on Thursday evening.
A US defense official, however, said that its forces are not currently carrying out any strikes on Iran. Iranian state media reported that a US-Israeli projectile hit a military headquarters on the outskirts of Bushehr, where its only civilian nuclear plant is located. Another report claimed that a naval military zone in the southern city of Konarak was attacked by enemy fighter jets in 2 stages on Thursday evening. But neither US nor Israel claimed any new attacks in Iran.
President Donald Trump updated Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about Washington's latest moves in the Gulf. Defense Minister Israel Katz said that Israel was prepared to resume its military campaign against Iran if needed, while vowing to do so with even greater force. Diplomatic efforts continue behind the scenes, with the US deliberately pausing after strikes to potentially allow for progress by negotiators. According to media reports that have cited US officials, the US and Iran continue to engage in technical negotiations on nuclear issues with an eye to a diplomatic solution.
The CNN is reporting that US is prepared for more potential strikes if needed, but currently letting diplomacy take the lead. It even reported that crew on the USS Abraham Lincoln stationed in the Arabian Sea loaded up fighter jets with armaments and practiced drills in preparation for any potential strikes.
Meanwhile, shipping through Strait of Hormuz is severely depressed once again. According to marine traffic data, at least 13 commercial vessels transited the Strait of Hormuz in the past 24 hours. Traffic had started to increase during the ceasefire when US-Iran negotiations were ongoing. however, dramatically dropped off again this week following strikes on several commercial vessels.
Lebanese and US officials say Washington will supervise the initial withdrawal of Israeli troops from pilot zones in the south, with the process set to start in the coming days.
Well, a US official has said that Washington has entered the implementation phase of the framework agreement, with the first pilot zone that is expected to begin within days' time. US Central Command will coordinate the zones, while efforts will be made to support Lebanon in restoring control.
The United States said new talks between Israel and Lebanon will be held in Rome next Wednesday and Thursday, with Beirut seeking an Israeli pullout from the zones before engaging in the talks.
The agreement reached on 26th of June calls for Israel to withdraw troops gradually from southern Lebanon, where it is conducting operations against Iran-backed Hezbollah. Under the deal, the Lebanese military will take full control of the two designated pilot zones.
But the agreement says that Lebanon will take full control of the zones only after the disarmament of non-state armed groups, referring to Hezbollah. The deal does not set a timeline for Israel's withdrawal, while Israeli officials say troops will remain in a 10-kilometer security zone as long as Hezbollah remains armed.
It was on Thursday that US Ambassador to Lebanon informed Lebanese president that an American military delegation will arrive in Beirut in the coming days to discuss the mechanism for implementing the agreement on the ground.
Aoun urged the US to pressure Israel to halt military operations and comply with the framework agreement, while the US ambassador stressed the need to avoid a security vacuum after Israeli forces withdraw.
As a NATO summit in Ankara, this was at the summit that President Donald Trump said he believed Israel would withdraw troops from southern Lebanon. Take a listen.
Sir, do you think Israel should withdraw troops from southern Lebanon?
Well, I talked to Bibi about that. Yeah, I think they're going to. I think they want to. I don't think it's a question of me. I think it's a question they want to. And they're getting along with Lebanon. They're signing deals with Lebanon. First time ever.
Lebanese President Joseph Aoun will visit Washington later this month for talks with Donald Trump on the framework deal and the situation in southern Lebanon.
Shifting focus then in news from Venezuela, where the death toll from the deadly earthquakes has risen to 3,889.
Nearly 17,000 people were injured in the 7.2 and 7.5 magnitude twin earthquakes that hit the country on June 24th, while almost 18,000 more lost their homes. In the hardest hit province of La Guaira, over 800 buildings have sustained damage that now require government intervention for reconstruction. 190 buildings have completely collapsed, forcing survivors to live in makeshift camps as they scrabble to find their loved ones. A $24 million emergency appeal has been issued to help Venezuela meet urgent health needs, including disrupted medical services, unsafe water, and sanitation.
PAHO has launched a US $24 million emergency appeal to help meet urgent health needs through the end of the year. These resources, the $24 million, will allow us to sustain essential health services, strengthen epidemiological surveillance, expand mental and psychosocial health support, support rehabilitation, and restore the functionality of damaged health facilities.
In La Guaira's mountains, workers have dug up new trenches to bury hundreds of people. According to reports, more than 300 unidentified individual bodies have been buried unclaimed till now.
Venezuela's interim leader, Delcy Rodriguez, who is facing criticism for delayed action after the deadly quakes, has promised fast construction of earthquake-resistant houses with a promise of aggressive and rapid reconstruction of housing.
She has also appealed for the release of Venezuelan funds frozen abroad to help the country cope with the reconstruction costs.
Right now, we are already working with experts in soil and subsoil studies to identify sites where we will build new homes in earthquake-resistant cities. Yes, identifying the sites, and we have a group of companies. We have brought together domestic companies with expertise and international companies with expertise for the aggressive and rapid construction of housing.
The United Nations is meanwhile trying to raise some $300 million in recovery funds for Venezuela. The country is now actively negotiating with the International Monetary Fund to unblock its financial assets for the reconstruction and rehabilitation efforts going forward. All right, for now we head into a very short break on World DNA. We'll be back with lots more on the other side.
Get the latest updates. Breaking news. Credible, clear, continuous. Experts across aisles. Diverse voices, one platform. WION World is one.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. More than 200,000 civilian homes have been destroyed. This looks like it used to be a toy for a little girl. Can't but wonder while I'm walking between all of this rubble, how many lives were destroyed, how many kids were traumatized, how many women lost their families. If this isn't a war crime, then what is? From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Radi Francis for WION World is One.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
Campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is one.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter. Because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world. A 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION. World is One.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Welcome back. You're watching World DNA with Samiksha. I'm Kripa. Let's get started with the top headlines unfolding at this hour.
Prime Minister Modi and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese visit Melbourne cricket ground as both countries seek to deepen cricket ties with plans for a Big Bash League match in India and greater sports cooperation ahead of major events.
US media reports Israeli intelligence shares information with US about a new and specific Iranian plan to assassinate President Donald Trump as tensions between Washington and Tehran remain heightened.
Iran buries former Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei in his hometown of Mashhad more than 4 months after he was killed in an airstrike as renewed US-Iran attacks heighten fears of a wider conflict.
Israel's defense minister Israel Katz says Israel is ready to restart its military campaign against Iran if required, pledging to act with greater force to eliminate threats and restore air superiority if fighting resumes.
Syrian officials say they have captured an Islamic State-linked cell suspected of carrying out 2 Damascus bombings during French president's visit. Further details to be released after the investigation concludes.
Russian Shahid drone strike on a gas station in Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia kills 1 person and injures 3 others. Rescuers were seen dousing fires at the damaged site as a destroyed car and drone wreckage lay among debris.
North Korea announces at a Central Military Commission meeting that it will expand its nuclear arsenal in both size and capability as part of efforts to modernize its military, improve combat readiness, and upgrade military bases.
US has decided against new tariffs on imported aircraft and parts despite concluding that reliance on foreign supply chains poses national security risks. Instead, Washington will pursue trade negotiations while keeping option of future action on table.
France eased into the World Cup semi-finals after defeating Morocco 2-0. Kylian Mbappe opens the scoring on the hour mark before Ousmane Dembele notches the second 6 minutes, later to send France into the semi-finals. China is battling a widening natural disaster crisis as deadly floods, violent storms and a devastating landslide have left scores dead across multiple provinces.
Now, authorities are racing to rescue survivors while millions brace for another major threat. A powerful super typhoon Bavi is expected to strike the country's eastern coast this weekend. Rescue teams are continuing a desperate search for survivors after days of extreme weather wreaked havoc across China. At least 17 people have died in floods and severe storms, while dozens of rivers have overflown and a reservoir dam has burst under the pressure of torrential rain.
The hardest hit area is the southern region of Guangxi, where Typhoon Mesak triggered widespread flooding. 6 people were killed and more than 1,300,000 residents were evacuated as fast-moving floodwaters swarmed towns and villages.
The weather emergency extends beyond southern China. In central Hubei province, thunderstorms, gale force winds and tornadoes have killed 11 people, injured 331 others. damaged thousands of homes and left one person missing. President Xi Jinping has called on rescue teams to go all out in emergency operations as the country grapples with the disaster. But even as flood recovery continues, attention is shifting east.
Super Typhoon Bavi is expected to approach China this weekend. Officials say that Bavi has maintained super typhoon strength for an extended period that has prompted local authorities to order a state of combat readiness.
Meanwhile, in northwestern Gansu province, the death toll from a massive landslide has risen to 41. Search and rescue operations have now concluded, while the cause of the landslide remains under investigation. With floods, storms, landslides and another major typhoon threatening the country, China faces one of its most challenging weeks of extreme weather. Staying with China, at least 28 people have lost their lives after a massive fire broke out at the Huiteng shoes factory. Dozens of firefighters and rescue teams are battling the blaze.
They have been working against time to bring it under control and rescue those still believed to be trapped inside. The tragedy unfolded in Xinjiang city in China's Fujian province. The visuals on your screens show thick black smoke billowing high into the sky. Firefighters have been directing powerful streams of water at the multi-story white factory building, both from the outside and inside.
Another video shared on social media showed people trapped on a rooftop. Several people can be seen taking shelter near windows and on the rooftop waiting for help.
Officials say that shoe materials have blocked the stairwells and emergency exits too, making it difficult for firefighters to reach the upper floors of the building. According to China's Ministry of Emergency Management, as many as 183 rescue personnel and 35 emergency vehicles were rushed to the scene. Chinese President Xi Jinping described the incident as one that involved heavy human losses and called for intensified search and rescue operations, while the cause of the fire still remains under investigation. Well, shifting focus then, it's Bangladesh that has announced austerity measures as it battles high inflation, slowing growth and economic pressure.
The government has ordered cuts in spending, including restrictions on new vehicle purchases, aircraft and watercraft procurement and foreign trips by officials. The move comes after major lenders, including the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank, lowered their growth forecasts for the 2026-27 fiscal year. Officials even say the measures aim to reduce pressure on public finances, control inflation and maintain economic stability.
A finance division official says that the Prime Minister's government that has introduced the restrictions to control inflation, ensure economic stability and use public funds carefully.
The government has also set a GDP growth target of 6.5% for 2026-27, but analysts and global financial institutions say the target may be difficult to achieve due to ongoing economic challenges.
The Asian Development Bank has lowered its 2026 growth forecast for Bangladesh to 4.5%. The bank cited concerns over the energy sector and the banking system for the downgrade.
The World Bank has also lowered its growth forecast for Bangladesh. It initially projected 4.6% growth, but later cut the estimate to 3.9% in April 2026 and further down to 3.8% in June 2026. On to Pakistan now. The country's most powerful institution is under pressure on multiple fronts.
Well, Balochistan is burning. Pakistan-occupied Kashmir has been protesting, and the image of an all-powerful military is beginning to crack.
IS Field Marshal Asim Munir losing control of Pakistan? That still remains the question.
Balochistan, you think this 1,500 people belonging to BLA and BLF and BRA, etc., can take away Balochistan from us?
In April last year, Asim Munir had boasted that about 1,500 odd Balochi fighters are no match for the Pakistan armed forces. Today, the battlefield tells a very different story. Pakistan is witnessing one of its deadliest weeks. According to the Pakistani military, insurgents abducted and executed 18 police officers after attacking a police post. In another strike, 11 soldiers were killed when their military vehicle was ambushed on a highway.
So, in the 3 major operations that I mentioned to you, 4 civilians were killed, and before and after that, our police personnel and army soldiers also lost their lives. In total, our casualties are 42, and there are 54 terrorists who have been confirmed killed, those who were involved in these operations.
The message from the insurgents was brutal. They can strike, they can abduct, they can execute, and they can disappear before Pakistan's forces respond. The latest attacks are not isolated incidents. They are part of a much bigger security crisis, which has engulfed Pakistan. According to the South Asia Terrorism Portal, Pakistan has already witnessed 620 security incidents in 2026. The violence has claimed the lives of 457 civilians, 706 security personnel, and 1,114 militants. These are not the numbers of a country at peace. They are the numbers of a country fighting multiple internal battles. The epicenter remains Balochistan. For decades, Baloch separatist groups have accused Islamabad of exploiting the province's vast reserves of gas, copper and gold while leaving local communities impoverished and politically marginalized. They accuse Pakistan's military of enforced disappearances and heavy-handed operations. Their demands remain unchanged. Control over Balochistan's natural resources, greater political autonomy, for some factions, complete independence from Pakistan. But Balochistan is no longer Pakistan's only headache. In Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, public anger is also spilling onto the streets. Mass protests have erupted after the arrest of hundreds of activists and leaders linked to the Jammu Kashmir Awami Action Committee. Demonstrators accuse Islamabad of suppressing civil rights and political dissent. Protest leaders have called for a final phase of agitation after Pakistan failed to meet demands for the release of detained activists. From Balochistan to Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the military is confronting unrest on 2 fronts. One is an armed insurgency, the other is a growing political movement. For decades, Pakistan's army projected itself as the ultimate guarantor of stability. PM Shehbaz Sharif and Army Chief Asim Munir have been busy of late working as a mediator to bring peace in West Asia. It is projecting itself as a nation which commands international respect. Now, that image is being challenged. Every ambush, every protest, every funeral raises the same question. If Pakistan's most powerful institution cannot secure its own territory, who really controls the ground? Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
Myanmar has assured India that its territory will not be used against India's security interests. The assurance came at the 23rd India-Myanmar national level meeting.
Yes, that was where the 2 sides held talks on border security, regional stability and ways to deal with common threats. During the meeting, the nations reviewed the security situation along the India-Myanmar border. They agreed that neither country's territory should be misused for activities that could harm the other's security.
India and Myanmar also decided to strengthen intel sharing, improve coordination between security agencies, and expand training and capacity building efforts to deal with common challenges. The meeting also reaffirmed the long-standing friendship and partnership between the 2 countries.
Meanwhile, Union Home Minister Amit Shah addressed the Land Border District Superintendent of Police Conference in New Delhi on Thursday. Amit Shah said the conference has helped create a more organized approach to border security. He also said the government is fencing the 1,610-kilometer India-Myanmar border. The project is estimated to cost 31,000 crore rupees with closer coordination and stronger border measures. India and Myanmar are now looking to build a more secure future along their shared frontier. The great rebalancing over the last 26 years has redrawn the global economic map.
Well, and the latest numbers tell a story of tectonic shift. In 2000, the global economic order looked nothing like it does today. And the latest IMF data even confirms that the reshuffle is not slowing down.
The headline figures: the US economy has nearly tripled to over $30.5 trillion and still remains comfortably world number one.
China's rise from $1.2 trillion to roughly $19 to $20 trillion remains the single most consequential economic story of the century. This is a 17-fold expansion no major power has matched in peacetime.
But the real signal for 2025-26 is India. New IMF projections confirm India has now overtaken Japan to become the world's fourth largest economy, with nominal GDP crossing $4.18 trillion, pushing past Japan burdened by near zero growth and yen weakness. Germany, meanwhile, faces its own reckoning. IMF forecasts near zero growth in 2025 amid trade tensions, with Niti Aayog projecting India could overtake Germany within 3 years to claim third place.
This isn't just GDP arithmetic, it's a story about growth differentials. India clocking 6% plus expansion while G7 economies grind out sub 1% growth. Capital follows growth and markets are already repricing accordingly.
But GDP rank alone will not decide tomorrow's winners. The next decade's value creation hinges on AI infrastructure, semiconductor supply chains, energy transition and robotics. These sectors are where the US and China are locked in a technology race and where India, the EU and Gulf states are racing to avoid falling behind.
Emerging economies like Brazil, Indonesia and Mexico add further diversification to a world no longer unipolar in economic terms. The map is not finished being redrawn, it is being redrawn in real time.
US software company Palantir has challenged a decision to block a $67 million contract with London's Metropolitan Police.
Well, it has claimed the office of London Mayor Sadiq Khan improperly took the company's values and ethics into account.
The case also adds to growing debate over the use of AI technology in policing and the role of private tech companies in public services. Palantir had agreed a 2-year contract worth $67 million to provide artificial intelligence software to the Metropolitan Police. The system was intended to automate certain police tasks and help analyze evidence in criminal investigations. However, the Mayor's Office for Policing and Crime refused to approve the deal, saying the Met Police had failed to conduct an open procurement process and had approached only a single supplier.
Palantir has taken the case to London's High Court, arguing that the decision was unlawful because it took the company's values and ethics into account. The company also said that the decision put politics ahead of public safety and argued that technology would help the police save money and protect frontline services as well. The Mayor's office has denied the claim, maintaining that the contract was rejected solely over procurement failures.
The dispute comes as Palantir faces wider scrutiny in the United Kingdom over its work with the US military as well as immigration authorities, and also the concerns about reliance on American technology companies. A High Court judge has scheduled the trial for January, rejecting the company's request for an earlier hearing. The company is also facing a review of its $441 million National Health Service contract after a UK parliamentary committee questioned whether Palantir's values align with those of the United Kingdom.
The highly anticipated live-action adaptation of Moana has released in theatres today.
The movie is releasing exactly 10 years after the release of its original animated film. The 2026 version is directed by Thomas Cale Hamilton and stars newcomer Catherine Lagaya alongside Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who is reprising his role as the demigod Moi.
The film is poised to be the definitive cinematic event of the summer. Beyond the state-of-the-art visual effects, Moana represents a monumental milestone for female representation both on and off the screens. Moana remains one of the most groundbreaking heroines in modern cinema. The young woman's arc is entirely defined by her courage, leadership and duty to her people.
Now, trade analysts are of the opinion that the live animated film has the potential to join the billion-dollar club, especially since the movie is releasing a year after Moana 2, the animated sequel, achieved the billion-dollar mark. High-budget, live-action transformations of beloved animated features have historically achieved the billion-dollar status.
Movies such as The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast are some of the examples. The live-action adaptation brings back the legendary Lin-Manuel Miranda and composer Mark Mancina to adapt the iconic track list for a live-action setting, alongside a brand new original song that's titled Along the Way.
From the world of the FIFA World Cup now, France booked their place in the World Cup semi-finals with Kylian Mbappe and Ousmane Dembélé on target in a 2-0 win over Morocco.
Well, Mbappe curled home his 8th goal of the tournament on the hour mark before Dembélé doubled the lead 6 minutes later to wrap up a clinical victory.
This win sends the 2018 champions into the semi-finals for the 3rd straight World Cup, where they will face either Spain or Belgium in Texas next Tuesday. The only concern for France was an ankle injury scar for Mbappe, who was substituted in the 77th minute.
France dominated possession but struggled to find the breakthrough. They missed a golden opportunity to take the lead in the 28th minute. That was when Mbappe saw his penalty saved by Moroccan goalkeeper. Morocco held firm until half-time, but it always felt like a matter of time before France's relentless pressure paid off. Breakthrough came on the hour mark, with Mbappe curling a brilliant right-footed effort into the net from the edge of the area. Paris Saint-Germain star Dembélé then put the game beyond Morocco in the 66th minute, surging forward from midfield before slotting a low finish into the bottom corner.
Now, French fans took over the streets outside the stadium in Foxborough after the win. Take a look.
Back home in Paris, supporters sang and danced to celebrate the victory.
As for France's potential semi-final opponents, Spain, who have yet to concede a goal in the tournament after eliminating Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal in the last 16, will fancy their chances against Belgium, who thrashed the United States 4-1 to reach the last 8.
On the other side of the draw, defending champions Argentina face Switzerland in Kansas City on Saturday. After edging into the quarterfinals, that is, the winner of that tie will meet either Norway or England, who go head-to-head in Miami on Saturday.
A reminder to our viewers in India, you can watch all 2026 FIFA World Cup matches on Z5. Spain take on Belgium in the quarterfinals. Make sure you tune in and catch all the action live.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is one.
Campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION. World is one.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. More than 200,000 civilian homes have been destroyed. This looks like it used to be a toy for a little girl. Can't but wonder while I'm walking between all of this rubble, how many lives were destroyed, how many kids were traumatized, how many women lost their families. If this isn't a war crime, then what is?
From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Radi Francis for WION. World is one.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
Vielleicht nur als 5%.
Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION World is One. I'm Adha Juneja, and this is Speed News. Let's start with all the stories making headlines today. US media reports say Israel has shared intelligence with Washington about a new Iranian plan to assassinate US President Donald Trump. According to a report in the Wall Street Journal, the information was shared as tensions between the US and Iran escalated, with the US increasing military pressure on Tehran with strikes in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has alleged attack on two military sites. According to state media, military headquarters near Bushehr, home to Iran's only civilian nuclear power plant, was targeted, along with the naval facility in the southern city of Konarak. A US defense official said Washington was not carrying out any strikes on Iran, while both the United States and Israel have denied involvement in any new attacks. Former Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei has been laid to rest in his hometown of Mashhad, with his burial held at the holy shrine of Imam Reza. Khamenei was killed alongside close family members on the first day of the US-Israeli war against Iran on 28th of February. His flag-draped coffin was carried into the shrine's memorial hall during an official funeral ceremony attended by family members, senior officials and thousands of mourners. Khamenei's sons were present, while his successor Mujtaba Khamenei did not make a public appearance. Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz says the country is prepared to resume military action against Iran if required. Speaking at a military ceremony, Katz said Israel would act with greater force to regain air superiority and eliminate threats if fighting restarts. His comments come amid renewed tensions between the US and Iran, raising concerns over a possible escalation. Israel is testing a new underwater project to clear unexploded munitions from the Mediterranean seabed and reopen parts of a closed-off coastline. Divers are mapping the waters of Rishon Lezion, a former military firing range, using dummy shells to develop safer clearance methods. Officials say the project could restore nearly 2 kilometers of beach for public use while reducing environmental and safety risks. Lebanese and US officials say Washington will supervise the initial withdrawal of Israeli troops from pilot zones in the South Lebanon. While the process for the withdrawal is expected to start in the coming days, US officials have stated that they have entered the implementation phase of the framework agreement, with the first pilot zone expected to begin within days. US Central Command will coordinate the zones, while efforts will be made to support Lebanon in restoring control. The United States said that the new talks between Israel and Lebanon will be held in Rome next Wednesday and Thursday. According to reports, Beirut is seeking a full-scale Israeli pullout from the zones before engaging in any talks. A Russian Shahid drone strike on a gas station in Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia killed one person and injured three others. Rescue teams battled fires at the damaged site, where a destroyed vehicle and drone debris were found. The attack came as the United Nations warned of rising civilian casualties, reporting June as the deadliest month for civilians since the early months of Russia's full-scale invasion.
The death toll from the deadly Venezuela earthquake has risen to over 3,889 according to government reports. Nearly 17,000 people were injured in the 7.2 and 7.5 twin magnitude earthquakes on 24th of June, while almost 18,000 more lost their homes. In the hardest hit province, La Guaira, over 800 buildings have sustained damage that now require government intervention for reconstruction, while 190 have completely collapsed, forcing survivors to live in makeshift camps as they scramble to find their loved ones. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese visit the Melbourne cricket ground as both nations look to strengthen cricket ties. But the visit comes amid reports that the Big Bash League could stage a match in Chennai, while Australia is also exploring the possibility of hosting future IPL games. Andy Burnham is said to become the next Labour leader and UK Prime Minister after securing nominations from the vast majority of Labour MPs to succeed Keir Starmer. Currently, the sole declared candidate, Burnham, is backed by 322 MPs, just one short of the 323 required to mathematically block any rivals from entering the race. While some MPs missed Thursday's vote, they intend to pledge their support upon returning to the UK Parliament. If the Labour race remains uncontested as anticipated, Burnham will be officially declared Labour leader next week and will then be scheduled to take office as Prime Minister on 20th of July. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney touted deepening economic ties with Saudi Arabia just after his NATO visit in Ankara. His visit is the first visit to the kingdom by a Canadian leader in 26 years. The trip underscores Ottawa's efforts to diversify trade and attract investment as US President Donald Trump's tariffs and threats to the US-Mexico-Canada trade agreement threatening Canada's position in the region. Well, this move highlights Canada's move to diversify from its dependence on the US, which is its largest trading partner. Saudi Arabia has sought to attract foreign investment from Canada as Prince Mohammed bin Salman is pursuing an ambitious plan to diversify the kingdom's economy beyond oil. Former Maine CDC Director Nirav Shah has announced his bid to replace Graham Plattner as the Democratic candidate for Maine's U.S. Senate race. Democrats are seeking a new nominee after Plattner announced his withdrawal following a sexual assault allegation which he denies. The party must name a replacement by 27th of July, leaving the candidate less than 4 months to campaign against Republican Senator Susan Collins. The Maine Democratic Party will hold a nominating convention to select the new candidate, with the race expected to be crucial in the battle for control of the closely divided U.S. Senate. Aviation pioneer Valley Funk, who became the oldest woman to travel to space, has died at the age of 87 in Texas. Funk was one of 13 female pilots who underwent astronaut-style testing in the 1960s, but was denied a chance to join NASA's astronaut corps. She finally reached space in 2021 aboard Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin rocket at the age of 82, briefly holding the record as the oldest person to fly to space. Remembered as a trailblazer in aviation, Funk was also the first female inspector for the Federal Aviation Administration and a pioneer in flight safety. Colombia's President-elect Abelardo de la Espriella visited the city of Chiquinquirá to fulfill a campaign promise by praying at the Basilica of Our Lady of the Rosary. Accompanied by his wife, de la Espriella attended the ceremony and received blessings from local clergy. The couple was welcomed with honors and the president-elect was seen greeting worshippers from the front row. The visit came 2 days after Espriella suspended the presidential transition with President Gustavo Petro and accused the outgoing leader of seeking to remain in power by refusing to recognize the results of the 21st June presidential runoff election. A major fire at a footwear factory in China's eastern Fujian province caused heavy human losses, leaving at least 28 dead. China's state media reported that rescue teams continue to search and firefighting operations. The blaze broke out at around 12:04 p.m. local time at a shoe factory in Jiangtou village, Chendai township in Jinjiang city. Well, preliminary findings indicated the fire originated on the ground floor where highly flammable shoe-making materials and adhesives were stored, causing the blaze to spread rapidly. CCTV footage showed that several people were trapped on the rooftop as flames engulfed the multi-story building and thick black smoke billowed into the sky. Peru's president-elect Keiko Fujimori says her incoming government is stepping up emergency preparedness ahead of a forecast strong El Nino, warning the weather phenomena could have catastrophic consequences for the country. Inspecting flood prevention works along Lima's Rimac River, Fujimori said authorities are accelerating efforts to reduce flood risks with a strong focus on clearing riverbeds and strengthening preventive measures.
Keiko!
A massive wildfire broke out in Bedar, a small village in southern Spain, with temperatures reaching nearly 40 degrees Celsius during a severe heat wave. Officials say over a dozen people have died. According to reports, some of the victims were found trapped inside their cars. At least 6 people were injured, including one person with severe burns and another with smoke inhalation. Over 150 firefighters and 5 fire trucks are currently known to be battling the blaze. Super Typhoon Bavi is approaching remote chain of islands in Japan's southwest this weekend. The landfall has prompted authorities to warn of violent winds, torrential rain, landslides and flooding in what could be the region's most destructive storm in years. Typhoon Bavi was nearing Japan's Sakishima Islands when authorities last mapped its expected landfall. Airlines cancelled dozens of flights in the region, with tourists and residents stocking up on supplies, emptying shelves of instant noodles at a local supermarket.